Hello.
Hi.
I'm Londyn.
I'm Kristen.
And we are with K&L Fibers. We have some things that we're working on.
Yeah.
I don't have a finished project. I'm very slow at all of the things, apparently.
So it's Saturday, February 15th.
Feels like it should be September.
I don't know why I think it's September already.
Oh, Lord, help us all.
Last night was Valentine's. I watched Love is Blind because my husband's not here. And then
my husband made me a steak dinner. I
Very
stayed
nice.
home because I didn't want to go out. So he made me dinner, which was lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other life updates?
I don't think so. My husband's coming to visit. We are currently in separate areas for work, so he is going to be here for a couple weeks. So that'll be fun.
That'd be exciting.
I'm very excited. He's going to handle some stuff and
curtains, please.
Do curtains for the back sliding door. It's a 4-panel sliding door, so it's a huge amount of glass. And my house is angled so that sunset kind of hits that side really bad. And my TV is on the opposite wall, so the light glares straight through. Yeah.
I love how this affects
me.
Special. And I'm like, your husband needs to fix this.
Well, because we watch stuff.
We do. We watch, and we're usually always down in here.
I keep looking to the right because I have a dog that just shoved up right here. The other one's over there. So they are out of their kennels again. So if you hear a dog or whatever, dog.
Yeah.
Any other life stuff? It's been a couple weeks.
It has been a couple weeks. Started house hunting, which is super fun. So we'll see how that goes.
I think it's just like a lot of the houses are a lot more expensive than most people can afford right now.
Mm-hmm. They are.
So that's what makes it hard. If everyone had like an unlimited budget,
oh gosh,
house hunting would be easy.
It would be. So we found a couple.
Okay.
So we'll see. Told my dad about them, and he's like, "You have really good candidates. You have 3 that you could really go for. I like this one." And I was like, "Thanks, Dad. I appreciate that."
Dad's input.
Yeah. Well, it's closer to it's closer to my family, farther from you, but
yeah,
it's right by the freeway though, so quick, easier access to over here.
Still like an hour drive, if not more. Some of them are closer, but one house is.
Oh yeah, no, the one in Canada, that's a hard no.
Okay.
So the ones we're looking at are like northwest side of Tucson, so not bad. So
makes sense.
Yeah, so we're looking over there. We're seeing what we've got. We are also going to try and knit during this time a little bit, seeing if we can start working on our projects a little bit more too. We'll see how well I can multitask, because that's always questionable. But I start with
because you're doing ribbing, so
I'm not working on that project because I still am learning the difference between knit and purl because it's very new, like how they look right next to each other.
Right.
So as I sit here doing this ribbing, which is like 300 plus stitches, I sit there and I go knit, purl, knit, purl, and nobody wants to hear that for like the 12 remaining rows that I have.
I usually, if I'm doing that, I do it in my head, and if my husband starts to try to talk to me, I like have to pause what I'm doing because if I mess it up in a way, I'll get a little sad.
Oh no! I was sitting on the couch the other day trying to do that, and I was going like, "Pearl," just under my breath, and he goes, "So babe, what do you do for dinner?" And I was like, "I'm going to murder you. I'm knitting. I'm talking to myself, trying to remember what I'm doing. I don't remember what stitch I'm on. But the more I do it, I can tell
the
difference between the stitches.
Yeah.
And where the yarn lays. So I'm getting better at it. I'm just not like, I can't see it and do it right away.
Okay.
So progress.
Yeah.
And that's all we're going for is progress. Nothing has to be perfect because Lord knows I'm not. But I'm finally on the ribbing of that sweater.
Nice. And this is like California?
This is the California sweater by Leslie Forrester Howard.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Okay.
I think so.
We'll link the pattern. I'm using I'm using 4.5 millimeter or US size 7 in the round. It says a 24 inch. I think I'm using a 40 because that's what I had and I didn't want to wait.
Okay.
So it works, which is good.
It's still in the round.
It's still in the round, still working in the round.
I'm gonna let dog out.
So I'm still there. So we're down to the bottom,
Okay.
towards the ribbing. I've gotten about 5 rows in, I think. 5 rows into the ribbing.
Okay.
So I'll stand this up so y'all can see the ribbing and ignore all the extra nonsense that's there. All the extra strings. But you can see the start of the ribbing that's coming together. So it's really pretty. Super fluffy, which I like. And then next I get to pick up the sleeves. I might do while I'm at your house, just to be honest.
So, I know the pattern is written to Winnie. Get down, please. Do the sleeves next, but I know a lot of people, when they're doing their sweaters, they do the collar first, and then they do the sleeves because then they can try it on and see where it's actually gonna rest.
Okay, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I have. This is considered technically a finished object. I don't know if I showed it. I did block it, so boo me. It smells special. So I used a wool wash that I got with one of my advent calendars, and I am like sensitive. I'm not super sensitive to smells.
Not like me.
But one of the smells that kind of like, I don't know, makes my throat want to tense up a little bit is like the patchouli incense type smells. I'm good with cedar usually, like the wood smells. But once you start adding like those other, I don't know, scent profiles to it, like it just becomes a little bit too much for me. And I blocked this sweater in something like that, not thinking it was going to be that bad.
Until you already started the process.
It dried and it's very strong smelling. So I may just kind of like spray it down with maybe some, I don't know, perfume or something. I don't think that's really going to help.
You're going to mix sense. I think you're going to have to rewash it, to be honest.
I don't want to have to reblock it. But this is my California sweater, and I knit it in, I knit it 2 pattern, and I knit it as a test knit. And I used Nicole Huloko yarn. That she did like a, I don't know, like a winter collection a couple years ago.
It's very pretty.
And so it's like lights and speckles, and it's beautiful. And I did helical knit, so I wouldn't get any pooling with
which is magic.
The speckles. There is actually some more like deeper speckles in the top than there is in the bottom, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. I'm very happy with how it worked out.
And what mohair did you use?
It's Bear Mohair from Camilla Fiber Co.
Okay.
She sells, it's not dyed, obviously Bear, right? No coffee today. So I got that probably around the same time I got the Nicole Huloko or the Huloko yarn, and just held it with it. So it worked out really well. I have some left over, which is great. So the only thing I don't like about this sweater right now, and it's the reason why I haven't tied in any of my ends, also because I procrastinate on tying in ends. I don't like this collar.
What is it that you don't like about the collar? Because it looks very pretty. It's aesthetically very pretty.
Right.
Yeah, it looks really cute. It does look a little high up.
Right.
Where, like, I almost always wear, like, V-necks because I don't want something to choke me.
Like, right up on the top of my neck.
Yeah.
So it's my first time doing a folded collar on a sweater. I've done a folded brim on a couple of beanies. So I thought, sorry, I have a dog licking their paws. If you hear that, I'm sorry. I thought that it would be very similar, which it kind of is, but I've done this color twice. And the second time I did it, what I thought was incredibly loose, and it's not that loose, where it was like joint. So, and I also like things that are a little bit more open. Like I had hoped it would be like a little bit like around my collar area or something and not as close up. So I'm thinking about taking out the collar and redoing it and just not doing a folded collar and just doing the ribbing for the same amount of length, because then it'll open up nice when I block it, and it won't be as, I don't know, it feels claustrophobic. Plus, I have to take off, like, my glasses, and my hair can't be up for me to get the sweater on, and yeah. And then I get floofies on my face.
It's a whole process.
But otherwise, it fits great. The sleeve length is perfect.
Which sleeve type did you do?
So I test knit.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, okay.
There we go.
I test knit it, and when I test knit it, she did have the two different types of sleeves. So she had the straight where you don't do any decreases, and then she had the fitted sleeves. And through test knitting, like sometimes you see that like maybe the pattern, how it's written, doesn't make sense for everyone, and things need to be altered. So the original way she had the sleeves wasn't what was given for test knit, which is fine. So I did straight sleeves.
Okay.
And I did I did a little decrease.
Right at the wrist.
Yeah, just like one like little decrease. Because I wanted to do originally like a super poofy, like a very dramatic decrease, and it didn't work out well for me. Which is fine.
Yeah.
We learn, right? But these are super straight, and I actually really like it because I like that they're not tight anywhere or anything like that. And it goes really well for the pattern. So I'm hoping I can maybe fix the collar this week, and then maybe I can get one wear out of it before it warms up too much. We just dropped yarn. Because it would be nice. We're already having, like, some days it's 80 degrees out.
Yeah.
We had a little cold thing the past couple of days with rain all last night, and that was really nice. And even though this is, like, a big gauge and it's very breathable, I think it's going to just be a little bit too warm for, like,
everyday wear.
Springs or falls here. It might be okay for fall, but I think once it starts 80 degrees, it'll probably be a little bit too warm.
Well, you wear it to work. Your office is always pretty cold, isn't it?
Yeah, but my office is right next to someone else's office, and they have a space heater.
Oh.
And so their warmth comes into my office. So
lovely.
It's okay. I order food a lot, so I feel like my food smell goes into their office. It's like a weird trade.
I think you got the better end of that deal.
I do. But yeah, so that's my California sweater that I test knit for her.
And how'd you get into test knitting?
Oh, goodness. So,
because I had never heard of it before, so, like, I'm sure I can't be the only one who's, like, new to this.
I watched, oh my gosh, what's her name? Megan Reagan? Yeah, she's out of Washington State. I forgot the name of her podcast, but if anyone wants to know, just comment and I'll find it for you and put it on there. She podcasts once a week. And she test knits a lot, actually. And she had a video once where she talked about how she got into test knitting. There's a website, can't remember the name right now, but I can tag it if anyone wants it. There's a website that you can go to and sign up for. And basically, people who are newer to designing patterns that are knit or crochet will post their patterns and have open calls for test knitting. So you can kind of sign up for one of those, get selected if you have one of the sizes that they need done. And from there, you can kind of get your feet wet with it because it's not for everyone. And like the deadlines aren't for everyone.
That's, I think, would be my hardest part with test knitting.
Yeah.
Would be keeping a deadline. Because, like, it took me a year to finish a beanie, guys. Like, we're just gonna...
I've done 3 test knits. And the cowl, the colorwork cowl that I did for the doodle cowl.
That one was super cute.
I got it done in the time frame, and that was great. It was not blocked in the time frame, but it was done in the time frame. And so I could do like full comments back to the designers and stuff like that. The California sweater, I had most of it done in the time frame. I had a sleeve and the body and everything, so I was just missing one sleeve. So I was able to give her information on that, which I thought was helpful. The most recent one that I'm working on right now, I'm outside of the deadline. I did give her comments on like the main structure of it that I had gotten through already. But you know, life happens, and I had a lot of appointments come up in January. So I just didn't have time. But yeah, so I got onto that website to kind of see what people were asking for test knits. Also on Instagram, the Size Inclusive Collective, I think. She posts a lot of test knit calls for a ton of different designers. And she shares the ones that are size inclusive, obviously. So if you follow her and you see that she posted something for Knit California or whoever, just go onto their personal site and do whatever application process they need for those things. I've gotten a couple of test knits based off of that. The one that I'm going to show that I also showed last time was based off of that. So it's really just kind of following certain people on social media to see when they put out test calls for things and then just hopping right on and submitting. But I've also like submitted for test knits where I've gotten no response, which is fine. One day though, I will hopefully be a test knitter for Dragonhorde Yarn because she makes the most beautiful color work and also amazing cable sweaters. And so one day, hopefully, I can test knit for one of her things.
That's the goal.
It's the goal. I would be very excited about that. But yeah, it's fun test knitting, but you also have to know that you're going into a pattern that may have some issues.
True.
So it's definitely, I'm not going to say it's not a beginner thing because I think anyone can do anything if they put their mind to it. But I know for myself, if I'm working on something and like, if I'm in a certain mood and the numbers aren't matching up, I'll get frustrated. So test knit projects don't work for me at that point in time. I have to switch to something else.
Fair enough.
We have floofies in the air.
Floofies in the air and dog hair, my bad.
Oh, lots of dog hair.
That was my bad. I didn't realize your dog shed that much.
Have you seen my peanuts? Like,
I know.
Covered in dog hair.
I just scratched the butt. That's all I did is I scratched the butt for a minute and then it was a cloud of fur that I was not expecting.
My pit bull has a very floofy coat for a pet, especially like on her booty. And she likes booty scratches. So she will shed a ton. She actually, every time I give them showers, she will clog the shower drain with her hair. So, what?
I forgot to knit into the front and back of the first one on the other side.
Do it on the other row, or on the next row.
Alright, that's going to be how do I do this? God darn it. This is why I can't multitask, guys. I got to literally this point, the very end, and I was like, I was supposed to knit in the front and back, or unless I did. I don't think I did. Did I?
I don't know.
Neither do I. Does it look like I did? I don't think I did. Maybe.
I don't think you did. I don't see an increase.
Okay. Well, this is why I shouldn't multitask at things, so because I'm supposed to do it on both sides.
Right. So it's an even increase.
Yes. So, do I just not do it on this side?
So I would...
Or how do I fix this, guys?
Okay.
Learning moment.
So your pattern has increases on both sides for every row?
Yes.
Okay. So I would...
Because I'm already all the way at the end. It's already like 130 stitches, 150 stitches done.
Okay. So you'll do your normal where you increase on both sides.
Okay.
And then I would maybe somewhere in the middle where it's a little bit less noticeable, do an extra increase.
Over here, not at the end.
Yeah. Because you're already going to have your normal ones on the end. And I don't know. For me, I'm just like, no one's going to see it. I would just throw in an extra increase somewhere in the row.
Okay.
So that you get your numbers back to an even. I'm assuming it's even.
It is. Well, no, it's odds. Actually, which is real annoying.
So since you're working on that, what is that? Have you shown it before?
I have not. I started it because I didn't want to have to travel with the sweater because it's kind of bulky and
yes, it is
big, and it's getting to the point where it's just being a lot. So I started this to take to a baseball game. So
she went to go see the Savannah Bananas.
I did. I got tickets to go see the Savannah Bananas.
They went and they sang to her and danced around, and it was a fun time for her.
It was lovely. So it was me, my husband, my mom, and stepdad, and then my stepbrother. So I am doing the Simple Shawl by Jane at Hedgerow Yarns.
Okay.
I am doing 40 millimeter needles. That's right. Or
4 millimeter? It was like 40. That's really big.
Guys, numbers are hard. Okay, so a 4 millimeter on 30-inch circulars.
Okay.
I am using the yarn from Seismic yarns that I bought at our first fiber festival that we went to.
2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah. So I finally found a pattern to use for it. So it is much more pastel-y than I thought.
But it's also a gift.
It is a gift. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the colors, like the way it plays together, I think it's really pretty.
Right.
Much more pastel-y than I thought when I initially picked up the yarn.
Right.
Because I also thought it was more white than gray.
Okay, that could have also been the lighting
True.
At the Fiber Festival.
It could have been. So I thought it was more white than gray. Yeah. But it is very pretty. As we scooch on up. So
then you're okay.
Sorry, you're not there. It's got like the cute little increases in here.
Okay.
Increase on every side. So I should have enough yarn to make the shawl.
Okay. How many skeins do you have?
2.
Okay.
2. So it's about 600 yards is what it said. So, and each skein is 328 yards. So I should have just enough to get through it. So that's not too bad. I do think the color is really pretty. I think it'll make a really nice gift for who it's for.
Right.
I don't know what I did, but I did miss a whole stitch somewhere in here. It's like right there, tiny little hole, missed a stitch.
Well, was your count off because of it? Or did you just maybe like accidentally yarn over or do something weird?
Probably. I don't know what I did.
We have a little hole. We can fix it.
We'll fix it. I'll learn how to fix it, which is good. New things. Learning new things, which is great. So, yeah, that's kind of things there. Now, the only thing I'm not like 100% on, and I don't know if it's like the type of yarn or the way that it was twisted, is it does seem to split just a little bit.
Okay.
Which is just mildly infuriating as I'm going through and trying to knit each row, because every now and again I'll like slice through the yarn and it's just kind of a pain.
Yeah, because you have to like pull the yarn back out or the needles back out. Yeah.
And like refix it, which again, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not for me, which is fine. I don't know if it's just this type of yarn or how it was done.
Right.
So
it's a sport?
It is a sport. So this is a sport weight yarn, 100% extra fine, Superwash Merino.
Okay.
So yeah, and it gets I've had no issues with the pattern besides me not knowing how to count, which is
that's normal.
That's
very normal.
Yeah, I don't think in my 30s I was ready to really prepared for how much I don't know how to count, or how much I have to go through and count like 6 times to make sure.
Goodness.
My numbers are correct. Because even when we were at like Birdhouse Yarns for our trunk show, how many times did I count that hat?
I won that. It was 3 times.
Yeah, they're now placing bets of how many times it would take.
Everyone working there was like, "Oh, she'll be able to count it once." And I was like, "I bet you it's 3 times," and it was 3 times.
Yeah,
trying to count it.
So,
but that's okay. We all have our moments.
Counting is hard, guys.
Some people a little more than others.
Rude.
Okay. What did you say the colorway?
The colorway, it's called White Opal.
Okay.
So
that's very pretty, though.
It is.
I can see why she named it that.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And I think the person who this is gifted for will really like it.
I think she will too.
Good. Well, you know her, so you should. She should. But yeah, I think other than that, like the pattern's super easy. Not a lot of directions. It's just like knit until you hit this many rows.
Okay.
Or knit until you hit this many stitches, and I'm like,
so really repetitive, easy.
Yeah.
Almost mindless.
To throw in a extra stitch, which is, it happens. I could count to see if I did it or not, but that also sounds like a lot of work. So
I mean, and it's also, is that like going to be like the main struggle? Like it's just going to have that detail down the spine?
Yes, the entire spine.
Okay. So realistically, as long as you keep that good and you're kind of keeping your increases, like you make up for anything you forget, like I don't know if it's really going to matter.
Or make a show.
Yeah, because it's not like you're doing like a lot of like lace work or like
yeah.
Oh my god, what are they called? Cabling and stuff like that, where like being off a stitch would like shift everything and like make it look really obvious.
Yeah, that is until I get to the lace work of the pattern.
Is that's on the ends though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and it looks like it's just like a lot of knitting, yarning over.
Do you want to show that?
Yeah.
And it could be like maybe you count like right before you get there.
Yeah.
That's
so
gonna be very pretty.
It's gonna be very pretty. It's got just a nice little bit of design. Like it's not bad.
It's like a nice different, like a change to get your feet wet with something else.
And it seems to be going really fast because each row you increase by either 2 stitches or 4 stitches.
Yeah.
So it's like you increase by 4 and then you do 2, 2, and then increase by 4 again.
Right.
So it is very repetitive. I did do it at like a baseball game, so like not a lot that had to be done. But yeah, you basically continue until you have just enough yarn left to do the eyelet section. Okay. So it shouldn't be too bad. I think I have to get to like another 45, 50 rows.
Okay.
And then it should hopefully be good to go from there. And then I get to do the eyelet section, which, I mean, this picture shows it much better, so I'll show this instead. But the eyelet section, it should look like this. This is a free pattern that I found on Ravelry too, so it was like a nice, easy one that I found, so it's not too bad.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's been what I've been working on a lot lately, unless I'm like at home, sitting on my couch and have like a couple hours to sit and do the ribbing, because that's not going anywhere until I get the ribbing done and
can cast it off
and be done with that part, and then I'm done. It's just gonna be a vest at this point.
Jeez.
I could wear it more often.
You could.
But I do think something would have to be, I'd have to do something to sleeves.
I mean, you at least need to pick it up and do like a little ribbing to
Yeah.
make it so it's not, I don't know, stretching something weird.
Just weird, yeah. But it's very cute. It's a fun project.
Okay.
So yeah, you are still working on your shirt. Tank top.
What's it called?
I don't remember. Here we go. Oh yeah. The Silvester.
Silvester Tea by Anna Hermann Sorensen. So I'm still working on the body, honestly.
Okay.
I did get through, I'm on to, I think I'm like maybe half a centimeter away from doing the last decrease on the body. And then I have like maybe 10 centimeters before I bind off. But when you go away.
I go you count centimeters because I'm like, that is how big?
So the pattern is in centimeters. She is Finnish. She's in a different country. So they don't do metric.
Goodbye, Winchester.
I have so much dog hair on this right now. But they don't do metric. So this is where we're at.
It's so sparkly.
It's so sparkly. There are some lighter sections in it. There's more lighter sections on the back in the yarn. It's because I grabbed Oopsie yarn. So I'm just gonna like dupe stitch over those. There's just some like lighter, like almost white sections that I want to dupe stitch. But it's very pretty. I do need to, so here's the body going down. I will need to pick up sleeves. The pattern itself has very like big flowy sleeves, and they're like kind of like cap sleeves. So it's not going to go all the way down the arm or anything like that. This keeps zooming in and out. I'm sorry. It's also, as I said last time, it's dyed in our yarn. It looks super dark on the screen. That's better. And this is Sapphire colorway held with Sparkle, which is Kremke Soul Wool. Jeez Louise.
Selena.
And Stellina in blue.
It's so pretty.
It's very pretty.
Sparkles.
And honestly, like you can't really feel it like in the fabric or anything like that, which is really nice.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah. So I thought maybe it might make it a little itchy. It's not. And it doesn't do anything to gauge or anything like that. So that'll be nice.
Now, would you need to use this Stellina if it's already mixed in with the yarn?
No. So if you had a fingering weight yarn that had Stellina in it or any type of sparkle in it, you could just use that. But she had written this yarn to be like a normal sock yarn or fingering weight yarn that you held with the Kremke.
Okay.
I don't even know if I'm saying that yarn brand name right, but that's what I'm saying it as.
Okay.
This pattern, oh God, is already released. She released it, I want to say like a week or 2 weeks ago. It's on Ravelry. I don't know how much it costs, but it's very clearly written.
That's fine.
Very clearly written, and it's a beautiful top when you get done with it. It's a fitted top, but you don't have to. If you don't want to do the decreases on the body, you don't have to. I'm doing it because that's how it was written, and I was test knitting it, and I wanted to follow that pattern. But you could easily just omit those and knit straight down the body.
Mm-hmm.
It does have, oh my God, I-cord bind off, which I've never done before. So that'll be different. But once I get there, I will figure it out. I've heard some people love I-cord bind off, some people hate them. So we'll see where I fall.
What's the difference?
With an I-cord bind off?
Yes.
So an I-cord bind off is kind of, you work 3 stitches at a time to kind of make it like more of a cord. Like,
oh, okay.
A normal bind off would be, this is an Italian tubular.
Tubular, yeah, because that's what I've never done that before.
Like you bind off in pattern, so it keeps the knitting and the purling. If this was an I-cord bind off, it would have like a ridge.
Oh, okay.
Like kind of like a rope on the outside of it. I really likes to zoom in on Londyn.
I don't know.
But yeah, I've been mostly working on this pretty exclusively. I haven't picked up any, I have been working on it exclusively. I haven't picked up any other projects because I want to get this done as soon as possible. I'm hoping, as with the other sweater, that I can get it off the needles and blocked in the next week or so, and I can wear it a little bit before it starts getting ungodly hot outside.
Yeah, it'd be way too hot in the summer.
Yeah, and then I would just be upset because I'm sweating all over my knits, and that's not fun.
No, that's also really sad and depressing.
But yeah, that's what I've been working on. Do you have any like Happy Mail stuff?
I have one piece of Happy Mail.
Okay.
I was getting ready to actually pick up this project, and I was like, I don't have the right cord length, and I don't have the right needle size. So I was like, I'm getting annoyed, and then I was talking to my husband, and he was like, well, you could just buy needles for every project you need. I was like, do you know how many different needles I would have to buy?
And they're like $10 a piece.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm gonna look at interchangeable needles.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to do the Chiagoo interchangeable needles. So the only thing I'm not sure if I'm a fan of at this exact moment in time is I did buy the 4-inch ones.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I was like, oh, it looks like it'll fit better if I'm doing like hats and socks.
Okay. But
they're really short. Like when I'm working on like these smaller sizes, it's not as noticeable. So like they're 4 inches as my hand covers them, but they're like 4 inches, which isn't bad. Like this side, this doesn't seem terrible.
Yeah.
It's when I go and I pick up the 10mm one. This is 4 inches, but it seems so tiny in my hand. So I think.
I'm pretty sure mine are 5.
What size is that?
Oh, this is a 3.5mm US 4.
Here we go. There you go. We can kind of compare.
Oh no, I have 4.
You do.
I have 4. It's fine. I do have some 5s because I needed some duplicates. You know what I mean? Like you have needles on a project, you want to start another project that have the same needles, so I bought 5s.
Okay. So it's just one thing I'm not sure I'm 100% happy with. Like I think in the smaller size I'd be fine, but again, like if you go up to like this seems just really, maybe I have big hands.
But
it seems really small in my hand. But again, there'll be the cord on there and there's other things, so it's not bad.
And how many projects do you
envision?
Right. I mean, do you work with a lot of like heavier yarns or things that have like a huge amount of like open gauge currently?
No. So I think let me see.
I would I mean, you can buy another set and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I just don't know if I was going to exchange it or keep it at the 4. So like the 6.5s, like these ones feel fine. It's, I guess when it just gets like the 8, ones, the 9, but like the 10 seems dumb to me. Like it seems very small. Like I don't have enough room to grip.
Okay.
But like the 6.5, which is currently what's on my sweater.
Right.
Like this seems fine. This doesn't seem like it's too much. So it's, I might just keep it as is. I don't know, man. It's a really hard decision to make. But I love it because it comes with the small cables and then the large cables in different sizes. It also came with a project bag, which was kind of cool.
That's cute.
Yeah. It's just like a little plain one, so nothing super fancy. But then you also got like measuring tape, as this shows, and like hook size. Some stitch markers. Stitch markers, thank you. And then you can take off the needles and keep them on the cord if you wanted to. I feel like that seems very dangerous, but that's just me.
I think they're called cord stoppers.
I think you're right.
Sure. Oh no, sorry.
So I finally decided to do I mean, it's an investment as is anything else, but it was like $170 or $180 after taxes and stuff to do the whole set. But now I have a lot of the needles that I didn't have before, and I can at least make what I want. Because this, the Shawl project that I'm working on, it is on 30 inch, and that's not one of the sizes that comes with it, but they are like I did an 8 and a 20-inch together, so you can kind of see like the little metal
You
joining.
Yeah.
Which I made my husband twist on because I was worried that I couldn't twist it on tight enough and was afraid things might come undone. But it has not come undone once. It hasn't come loose. Like, I don't notice any loose things, which is great. Makes me feel a lot better about it. So it's probably a little longer than 30 inches, but yeah, so that one, it's not bad. It's not bad. So I'm excited now that I have it. It was, like I said, it's a bigger purchase to make at one point. But I do think, because I mean, the first set of needles I bought, they were like $30 on Amazon's for interchangeable, and they were bamboo, and I
do not recommend.
I brought, like, my hand, apparently I have really strong hand pressure, that I would just, as I was knitting, would just snap them out of the thing.
I would cry.
So I would stop. So then I switched over to just doing, like, the metal, and I really like the way the metal feels much better.
Yeah.
I think starting and at least learning bamboo was great.
Because it grips the yarn more.
It does. But it also, like, if I was doing it a little too tight, like, it's a little too hard.
Yeah.
Which is very frustrating.
Well, but that's also, like, part of learning is figuring out, like, your yarn tension and stuff like that. I have a sweater that maybe I'll pull out and start working on. It's actually my first sweater that I kind of keep putting on hold, and it's done in another Q Loco yarn, a DK.
Okay.
And it kind of actually comes across as like camouflagey, but I absolutely love it. But I was knitting on a sleeve, and I noticed I was stressed out at work, and I noticed that my stitches weren't sliding on my needles very well, and I'm like, I should probably put this away for now. Like, this is just not gonna work out.
No.
I'm fighting to move them. Like, yeah.
So imagine all of that, but on
bamboo needles,
where it's even harder to move them because they do grip a little better. But I do have to say, one of the things I'm going to be looking at getting in is I do love the fun needle stoppers.
Yeah.
I do love a good needle stopper just because they're fun, and I am very afraid of all of my work coming off. So right now, like, for this project, I am using, it's from Lemonwood, the yarn minder, I believe. Mini minder.
Okay.
So it's just something that'll, like, hold your yarn. Sorry, it's kind of a disaster because I unspooled it a little bit to knit on it right now. But it'll hold, like, a skein of yarn, which is great.
Right.
I love it. But, like, with these, I've just been, like, slowly stabbing them through all of my yarn because I'm like, I don't want it to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that it'll fall off if I try and store it any other way because I only have the one set of needle stoppers right now. That's currently on my sweater project because if that came undone, I would cry. So that's been how I've been storing these guys because I'm not a huge fan.
Sorry.
Did you make it? Did you?
Really aggressive for like.
Are you there yet? Or one more row?
I think one more row, and I'll be perfect.
That's good.
Last decrease, which will be nice. Okay. I was at Birdhouse Yarns a couple weeks ago, and as what happens when you walk into a yarn store, you see something on the wall that you're just like, wow, I really need that yarn. It's really pretty. I want it. So Birdhouse Yarns is local to Tucson, and they've made a huge effort this last year. And not that they haven't had local yarns in the past, but they've made a huge effort to specifically start carrying a lot of Arizona local dyed yarn. We actually have our yarn. Oh, that's really pink. Our yarn in Birdhouse Yarns.
We do.
They wanted a lot of our jewel tones, so we have given them those for now. And they carry a ton of like Arizona local dyers, which is amazing. But I walked in and they have a section for hot magenta yarns or yarn company. And this is going to be so much pinker on the screen, and I swear it's more muted.
It is. I can attest. She sent me a picture, and I was like, "That's pretty. It's so pink."
So it's very pink. on the screen, it's getting
Oh, that's
washed in, or it's
special. Here
just
we
too
go.
vibrant.
On my head.
I can't make it less pink. But
Yeah.
this is a very soft pink. It does not look it. And it also has like little bit, you can see the flecks over the lighter orange.
It reminds me of slightly darker than, it's a little bit darker than Strawberry Starburst, but not as red as the cherry one.
Okay.
So it's like an in between. So picture that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I was trying to think, I was like, I don't even know what color to call that.
So it's very tonal. It has like the lighter, like yellowy goldies in it and like the pale pinks. It's called Flame Orange, and this is the Snowdrift Select base, which is basically a fingering weight. 75% fine superwash merino, 25% recycled nylon. 437 yards and 100 grams skein. I will link her Etsy shop, geez Louise, and her social media, but I got that, and it was, so this is actually probably more like the color. So this is it on Mohair. Yeah, kid mohair, 72% kid mohair and 28% mulberry silk, 459 yards. And I think her mohair base is called Nuvola. Nuvola?
A much better guess than I would have had.
But I saw this on the yarn or on the wall. Okay, that's
That
more
picks
realistic
up.
to what the actual skein of yarn is. This is just pulling super bright. But the mohair, like the strands are all the pale pink, and the floof on the mohair is like the golds.
Yeah, orangey gold.
Which is so pretty. I think I'm gonna make this into a hat. Like a folded brim. Tristan Molina of Dragonhorn Yarn has a folded brim one, and I've actually made a pale pink one in her yarn, but I think a slightly different color for it would be really pretty. I know it's still pink, but it's not as pink as it could be.
True.
But I did that, and then also because I was there, I needed another set of knit blockers, and I like the Mindful collection from Knitter's Pride. It was my first set that I had, and I had to stick with the same colors. Like, it bothers me in here if I got different colors.
Tell me you have OCD without telling me you have OCD.
What's funny is when I was blocking that sweater, I had to I used the same colors as I went around and down the body, so it matched on both sides. Yeah. Just a little, special. It's fine.
It's fine. They're great.
It works.
And you like those better than other. Because, I have T push pins, basically.
I definitely like them more than T-pins because you can block a larger section all at once with one of these. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Because it has multiple needles on it.
It does.
It's easier to get a straight line with it.
Okay.
But if I'm being 100% honest, I've never blocked anything with the T-pins. I kind of look at the T-pins and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look great.
It's annoying. How many times have I stabbed myself? It's great.
And I've only blocked a couple of things, so I would definitely recommend a set of knitting blockers. You don't have to get this brand. They have tons of brands on Amazon. I just bought my first set in this brand and in these colors, and my mind said I had to buy the same. So I did. And it's supporting local yarn shop.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted to show, which I'm going to hopefully start working on soon because it'll be a fun little project.
Yes.
I got an emotional support chicken at the California Fiber Festival. It just zoomed in.
I don't know why your camera likes me a lot.
It says the camera's on that side, so it automatically, she's closer. But I got an emotional support chicken. This one is the Tail Feather Swift.
It does not look like the front of it.
Yeah. It's going to be pinks and grays, which is beautiful. I love this. I think this is such a great idea. This came from the Knitting Tree LA. They came out with this maybe a year or so ago. And I've seen tons of people knit them. Kevin and Ray on Needles at the Ready. They have knit, I think, at least one each, if not more than that. And also, if you buy the kit, you get all the yarn for your emotional support chicken and the pattern. But once you have the pattern, you can take whatever yarn you want to make whatever variations you want to at that point.
I like that there's a nutrition label on the back.
There is a nutrition label. And also it's 6-piece bucket of chicken, just add stuffing. It's so cute. Like the packaging for this, like really makes it the most adorable thing. And I honestly didn't know if I was going to jump on the bandwagon. And then they had a whole display and I'm like, I need the chicken. I need it. So hopefully I'll start working on it like maybe in like the next week or two. I want to get this top off the needles first, even though they use different needles.
Just want to be done with it to kind of free your brain.
I think this will be a fun little like in between project before I start casting on like one of my
Knit 9.
Make 9? Knit 9?
Whatever. I don't know what it's called.
They're all knitting. I guess you could do a make 9 out of like crochet or anything you really wanted to, but because those are all tops with longer sleeves and stuff like that. Though if I was really smart about it, I would hold on to this until the summer.
Yeah, because then it wouldn't.
Yeah, and then I would be fine knitting this in the summer because it's 115 degrees outside and it's something sitting on my lap. But I probably won't do that because I'm not smart. And I tend to fixate, and when I want to start something, I want to start it now.
Oh, big same. That's why I started looking at houses like 2 weeks ago. So I was like, I want a house now. Something of my own.
Goodness. But I think that's all the knitting, all the stuff. I know Grocery Girls podcasted this week, and they have a collaboration with one of the self-striping yarn dyers in Canada. So that's going to be releasing next week. I may or may not purchase one because I am a sucker for self-striping yarn. And the color is beautiful. Like they've never done a collaboration where I think that the color is not pretty.
Okay.
So I might buy that, but I'm really trying to I know I bought yarn like 3 weeks ago. I'm trying not to buy as much yarn and try to use like stuff in my stock as much as I can.
You're going to end up having to post a picture of your stock at some point because it's an entire wall.
It's a wall and part of like one of those little like bookcases from IKEA. Like it's full size, but it's like short rows.
Yeah.
I have a lot of like my sets from Hue Logo, like the mini sets or the 50 sets.
Yep.
Speaking of which, her the colorways for this year, like she does a release like every month.
Okay.
And it's themed. So she's done like the flower for that birth month. She's done the gemstone for that birth month. I don't remember what the theme is. I feel like this is a running thing for me on this. But I've seen some of the colorways that are coming out, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So it's something to definitely keep in mind, especially when it gets closer to my birthday. Maybe the colorway that comes out will be something that I need to have. We'll see.
Yeah. But you'll also be like just a couple months later, you're going to a fiber festival in Washington.
I am. I'm going to go to
pick
Flock in Seattle in the beginning of August. So I am impatiently waiting for tickets to release so I can buy tickets because I have to buy tickets for me and my husband. Oh, excuse me. Jeez Louise. Says he is going to be going with me, and then once they release classes and stuff like that, I may sign up for a class because he told me that he is fine wandering around on his own if I take a class, which could be really interesting because he has a tendency to walk in places and like he doesn't do fiber crafting.
It's not his thing.
But he does like woodworking and stuff like that and metalworking and stuff. And so he'll look at things that are traditionally like tools for working with fiber. And he'll think of it as like, oh, well, I could use that for such and such. Mm-hmm. And then he starts asking the person who has those things questions that relate to his craft. And they usually look at him like they're trying to help him, but on the same level, they're just like, I have no idea what you're asking for. So it could be a very interesting scenario.
It could be. But it could be, it's going to be fun regardless.
It is
You're
going
to have
to
a
be
blast
fun.
regardless. Like,
and I know at the end of the day, if I buy a lot of yarn, I can ship it back. And they released recently, like, all the vendors that are going to be there. So I'm very excited. A lot of vendors I haven't, like, been able to purchase their yarn, or I've never met them in person. So that'll be very fun. It's going to be a lot of people, but it'll be very fun.
yeah, you need a day or two afterwards just to recoup.
Yeah, my day or two is probably going to be, like, traveling back to Arizona.
Dang.
I know. Goodness. So, done with mail, done with what we're working on.
Yeah, we did all those things.
What are you watching? Are you still watching
Dude, I'm always still watching Criminal
Criminal
Minds.
Minds?
I go back and forth. I think I'm in season 12 or 13 now. So
Okay.
it's just something I can put on in the background and, like, not pay as close attention to because I've seen them all.
Right.
Also, I don't know if you saw, but it looks like Supernatural might be coming back for a 16th season.
I saw that. I don't know how legit that is. They actually ended it pretty perfectly, so I don't know if they would bring it back.
I don't know, man. I keep seeing it announced that they're bringing it back, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to rewatch all of Supernatural.
I'm fine. I actually love all of Supernatural. The only part that gets a little hinky for me is one of the seasons. They dive really hard into, like, angels and demons.
It's not like season 4 or 5. It's early on.
Or the angels. I think it's like midway, actually, because, like, one of them comes back as an angel, or okays an angel, like, inhabiting their body, and I just, like, it becomes too, I don't want to say it becomes too biblical, but it becomes too redundant. And I like the show because it is changing, like, each episode kind of has a different thing happening. Yeah. And even though they have, like, maybe an overarching bad thing, or like things that are kind of happening between episodes, like, they still kind of have, like, different characters and different monsters that are, like, filtering in. And that season just drags for me. I can't do it.
It is. It's a lot.
I'll actually skip over it.
So, yeah, I saw that coming out, so, like, I might have to
Okay.
start rewatching Supernatural again.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes.
But they also haven't filmed anything. So they're just, like, it's just,
It's like a
stuff on
teaser.
social media saying, like, hey, this might happen.
Which, okay, if I could pick, I wouldn't pick Supernatural to come back. I would pick Mindhunter to come.
It is. They've already filmed a season 3.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, for the love of God.
It's coming back, and it has the same 2 leads in it. Yeah. I don't know when it's coming out, but they've already filmed a season 3.
I keep hearing that they're coming out, and then it's like, no, it's not coming out, and then it is, and I'm like, you left it on a cliffhanger. I need some more info on BTK, even though I know the whole story.
I would say maybe, like, they might wait for next year, but I would say it's going to come out. It's just not going to come out this year, probably.
Yeah, so that one would make me very happy to see again, because that one is very well done.
You know what I would love? If some network, like, picked up and did, like, a reboot of it, or, like, continued. The Secret Circle.
That one was so good.
It was so good. It was on, like, the CW. Like, the theme song randomly just pops into my head, and I'm like, wait, where's that from? Secret Circle.
That one was good.
That would be good. I've been watching, Love is Blind came out last night, or yesterday, so I was watching those episodes last night. And then I've been continuing on my Traders watch as the season progresses. What else?
I finished Below Deck.
Okay.
Because sometimes I just need some drama. And finished the first season of Below Deck Sailing Yacht. I've already done most of Below Deck Mediterranean. So there's a couple seasons that I haven't seen, so I could go back and watch those. And then there's Below Deck Down Under. So Australia.
Okay.
So that one I haven't watched at all. So I have options for my drama shows. I finished, or I'm all caught up on High Potential.
Okay.
That one's really good. All caught up on 911. and I'm on All-Star. I want to say All-State, but I know that's not it. It's the Texas one. That one is finished, like season finale finished.
Okay.
And it ended pretty well. So that one was good. And then, yeah, that's basically all I have been watching. Is usually things that I can put on and not pay as close of attention to. We did a couple more episodes of Found.
We did.
We're getting close to the end of the season. I think we have like 4 episodes left.
Yeah.
And then we're done with the first season of Found, and we have season 2 to go.
Yeah. I've been watching Sweet Magnolias released a new season. Netflix released a new season of Sweet Magnolias. Not Sweet Magnolias released a new season.
Okay.
So I've been watching that. It's a very wholesome show. It's adorable. I love it. I love all the actors and actresses in it. There's really nothing that I hate about that show.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been very slowly watching it because I don't want to be done with the season. So I'm slowly watching that. I've been watching Alone Australia. So
What is that?
Alone is a TV show. It's a
Like survival?
competitive TV show.
Okay.
And basically, it's usually like 10 or maybe 12 or people are dropped off into a certain part of the world. Usually it's like Arctic Circle, like northwest of the United States. I want to say like North Alaska. But they've switched it to like northern Canada, and now they have one in like a weird part of Australia. I really want to say it's Tanzania, but I'm not entirely sure. And so they drop those people into areas by themselves. So there's no way that they will ever hit any of the competitors. They don't have any contact with any other humans other than the med crew that comes in to check on them on a regular basis. They do med checks. So you can get booted from the show if you've lost too much weight too quickly. Or if you're having like obviously like frostbite, stuff like that, because you have to build your own shelter. You have to catch your own food. You have to get your own water. All of those things. So,
No. I would not participate. I'm sorry. That's not my wheelhouse.
This was Jack and I joke that if he ever did Alone, that like just don't expect him to come back anytime soon because he's not going to tap out for something stupid.
Yeah. He's pretty handy. He could build shelter. He can.
Yeah.
He's pretty
make
handy.
fire. He likes to hunt. He knows how to fish. Though a lot of people who fish on these shows like don't do very well consecutively. Like they will catch like some fish, but it's not like an all season thing, right? But the show goes on until there's only one competitor left. And because you don't have contact with any of the other competitors and no one notifies anyone of someone leaving, right? You don't know how long you're going to be there. So it's a very much a mental game because you're away from people, like you're missing the social aspect.
Yeah.
And then you don't know how long you're going to be there. Usually it ends like around 100 days, maybe a little more than 100 days, I feel like.
That is such a long time.
Well, and they drop them like, I don't know, a week or two before like fall, winter starts happening. So like
they have to go through a winter.
Yeah, they have to go through that like cold season. But usually like maybe you have 1 or 2 people tap in the very beginning of the season because they get dropped off. They're all by themselves and they're like, whoa, I can't do this. But Australia season, I swear it was like 5 people tapped in the first like 3 days.
I would be afraid of all of the critters.
Well, Australia has special looking critters.
They do, and they have a ton of poisonous critters.
I know, so
and
like
very deadly critters that I would just. Also, the spiders. I don't know that I could do.
Yeah.
I see a spider. I'm like, all right, guys, now I'm out. I'm done. Come pick me up.
But
take me to air conditioning.
It's quite an interesting show. Jack and I usually watch it together. But again, he's not here, so I needed something to watch that was easy breezy that I could like do other things while I'm watching. And it's also a History Channel show, so like after each like scheduled commercial break, which I don't get the commercials, but they recap kind of some things a little bit, so it's
Okay.
redundant sometimes. So like you having something else to do is like a good thing.
Yeah. Sitting there and watching it without the commercial breaks, because Below Deck does that too. It's a Bravo show.
Yep.
Where they recap, and I was like, I just
watched
this. Like it should just be continuous, but I get if there was a commercial break that some people might need the refresher.
Yeah. I watched the Diddy documentary series on HBO.
Mm-hmm.
That was rough.
Yeah.
And I say rough because obviously they have, it's 5 episodes, and they have some of the people who are considered survivors from things that happened, or people who also like filed lawsuits, right? And some of their stories are really heartbreaking to hear. So that was rough to watch. And I've also been watching like The Curious Case of, that's on HBO also. And each episode is like a different focus, a different case, and they're all like bizarre, strange things happening. Like the first one was about Bam Margera and how he has a guardian, but the guardian isn't anyone that's related to him or even a friend. She's a girl who has like her own company for like this experimental, like
weird,
like the VR, is that VR, virtual reality goggles on how to like treat addictions. So I say it's experimental because I don't think it's actually undergone any sort of like testing to see if it has any like actual like positive or negative effects. But that was interesting because I hadn't heard that he was in any type of like guardianship scenario or this person who had a company who did that. But they focused kind of like on a cult that like, I guess the cult became weird when like the leader of the cult was like, we're gonna save all these cats. Everyone needs to have a certain amount of cats that they're responsible for, type of a thing. And I'm like, oh goodness.
I've got one, and that is more than enough.
I've got 2 dogs, and that is plenty for animals.
Right?
But yeah, I think that's mostly... Then we started the hunting party. We watched the first episode of the hunting party. It was interesting.
It was. So we'll have to continue watching that one and see how it plays out. But so far it's been very interesting to watch.
Yeah, I like the premise of it, that there's like this super secretive lockdown facility for all of these serial killers that, and it's not even serial killers that were convicted, it's serial killers that were convicted and sentenced to death and died, and now they're in this super secretive prison.
Jeez Louise. That's like in an old silo by a nuclear facility.
Right.
And basically there was an escape of all of the people in an explosion.
Yeah.
And now they have to go hunt them down again.
Before they start killing other people, hopefully.
So far they've been unsuccessful on that part.
I know.
Which, hopefully they'll get someone back before.
Which I know that they're going to do that because they have to like obviously follow the trail of bodies, right?
Yeah.
But like if I was in their shoes, right? If I was a serial killer and I broke out and whatever, right? I would want to get as far away as possible.
Yeah, don't go to the nearest town and pick a victim there and then keep moving on. That doesn't track. Go
to the middle of nowhere as far away as possible, and then if I was going to continue those things, I would try to do it on a low key. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, just like get far away.
It's like now you're confessing all of your serial killer crimes.
I don't have any crimes. I've lived in Arizona my whole life, y'all.
So, definitely isn't her. So we think.
No. But we've watched so much true crime that like I will look at it and be like, why would you do that? Like that doesn't make sense.
Well, I went to dinner at my mom's house with my step-nieces and nephews, and we were all just hanging out, which was great. And they go, well, how would you murder somebody? And I was like, wait, what? Why? And they're like, well, you could like slowly poison them, and I'm like, that's traceable on a tox report.
Yeah,
depending on what it is.
Gotta pick
And
your.
he goes, you have a better way to off somebody? I was like, insulin. It's a good way to do it. So yeah, so
Just have to get your hands on some insulin, Londyn.
I know. Then it's naturally occurring in the body, not something that they usually test for.
Yeah, but now that you've said it,
I know. If anything ever comes back, that's the first thing they're gonna do. Is test for insulin and see if I murdered somebody. Not the goal. It's never the goal.
give me a heads up before you like get convicted of something, so I can like get my hair done. I can look nice for the video.
Right.
When they come around to be like, how did you know Londyn? Yeah.
Was she weird? Did you ever have an inkling that she could do something like this?
All the time.
Rude.
It's always the quiet, unsuspecting ones that bring baked goods
Hey.
to monthly meetings.
Now you made it sound like we go to AA.
Monthly work meetings.
We did work
Let's say
meetings.
that.
Yes.
Work meetings.
Monthly work meetings. It was a lovely, lovely treat after our meetings.
It was, but I also wasn't friends with her at that time, and I had worked all day when I got to those meetings, and I'm like, this person.
I know. How'd she have time to bake? I worked overnights, that's how.
Yeah.
Overnights, that's how I did it. But yeah, so those are mainly all the things that I've been watching, and haven't really been able to pick up books yet.
Yeah.
I'm just having a hard time with it.
I'm kind of reading.
Reading or listening?
I've been doing, again, I've been slowly doing the Sarah J. Maas book series for The Assassin. Oh my goodness. Crown of Midnight, which is part of the Throne of Glass series. We keep looking over there because our little notes are over there. But I also like started a new position at my agency. So where I would just kind of sit there and listen to something in the past, now I have to like think harder because I'm learning. So I haven't been listening and such as much.
Okay.
And then also because I'm staring at the screen all day, during my lunch break, I'm not really reading off my Kindle. So I've been trying to knit, or I'll go grab food or something, but it's a lot.
It is.
Learning new things.
It is. It's a lot. So, no, I think that's all the updates we have right now. We're working on figuring which shows we're going to be doing this year for the shop.
Yeah.
Once like applications go up that we're going to be applying to.
Yeah, we specifically want to go back to California. That's going to be a big. We just like going there. Like the little city that's in Pomona is like adorable.
We stay in the same Airbnb every time.
Yeah. Though this year we might switch it.
Yeah.
Depends on if I need to take the dogs or how all that's going to work out. But we kind of stay in the same area. So we also know like the restaurants we've gone to before that we really like their food, or like restaurants we went to that we didn't like their food.
So we're slowly making like our list of like what's good to go to, what do we need to not do.
We're also slowly thinking about like Advent type things because we want to do like 2 little Advents this year
for knitting and cross stitch. So we're working on putting those together, which should be out in the next couple of months probably.
Yeah, we'll list them. We'll let you guys know once they get closer and like what theme and stuff like that we're going with. If we're doing like inspiration color palette and stuff. Yeah. And then I think that's it. We are talking to some yarn shops about possibly doing some trunk shows this year. So kind of trying to keep things a little bit more local, or seeing if we do a trunk show maybe in California that
like shipping. Maybe
we can ship our stuff there and they can do a trunk show without us physically being there. Traveling's a little weird for me this year. So yeah. I mean, we could always, if you would be up for it, we could always like, I mean, I don't want to take away from like your holiday though.
Yeah.
Because you go there for like vacation, so I wouldn't want to add on a trunk show to your vacation.
Yes,
by
right. Go in
yourself.
California. I mean, I would definitely, if we ever would set out anything up like that, I would totally I would take a Saturday.
Yeah.
It'd be the first Saturday because then I'd be like, I'm done. But I would totally do that. We just probably have to ship stuff because I also have all of my normal things that I bring on vacation, which is like projects I'm working on and all of my clothes and all the fun things that we bring. But yeah, so we're looking into like what options we can do this year and also trying to plan for 2026
Yep.
a little more ahead instead of like 1 year at a time.
Yep.
We're trying to figure out what's gonna work best for us and figuring out moving forward basically. So we'll be working on some of that stuff coming up here in the next little bit.
I think we have our next podcast scheduled for, it'll be 5 weeks away from this one because
we were supposed to podcast next week.
Yeah, we're supposed to podcast next Friday, but we need to reschedule. So we did it a week early because it's been 3 weeks since our last.
Yeah.
So it'll be 5 weeks until our next one. So we'll see you guys in March, which is crazy.
Yeah. Says the person who said it was September.
I know. You know what?
I feel.
It's because my phone it says SAT 15, and somehow my head was like, oh, S something September.
Yeah. No, so yeah, that'll be March, and then hopefully maybe I'll have a finished project. Who knows?
Maybe. Hopefully. It would be nice.
It is nice. My goal is to try and finish one a quarter.
Okay.
So 1 a month seems a little too adventurous for me right now with everything else going on. So.
Well, but you said that when you were wedding planning. So.
True.
Now you're not wedding planning.
I'm not wedding planning, but I'm still working, and now I'm looking at houses and might be moving. Who knows? So maybe once I can get my life to settle down, which Lord knows that's never going to happen. I did start, I've been starting to slowly pick up knitting while I'm at work, which has been trying to figure out the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that a little bit as well. So I've been getting a little more progress done throughout the day, which has been good. Knitting wise. So
that works. Because there's a whole trend that's going around where it's if you have projects that are just kind of sitting there languishing, is that what it is? They've just been sitting there doing nothing, and you haven't made any progress on it to maybe pick one project and dedicate 15 minutes a day to it.
Okay.
Which is a wonderful thought. That doesn't really work for me because after a week of just doing 15 minutes a day, I'll look at it and be like, oh, I've barely made any progress.
Wait, let me do I think I could do an hour a day.
I could do an hour a day, yeah.
I feel like I could get through one row of my knit and purl ripping in an hour.
In an hour?
Well, yeah, it's 300 plus stitches. And then me sitting there going knit, purl for I think last time I did it through one episode, which is 42 minutes. Okay. And it was me watching the episode and doing that a little bit. So maybe I'll get faster. Well, that's the goal. I will get faster. But
well, yeah.
Right now it's 45 minutes to an hour to finish one row.
What's gonna be funny is when you get to the sleeves, you're gonna be like, these are going by so fast. Yeah, because it's less stitches.
Yeah. I'm actually very excited for that to be so close to being done because I'm getting so close. There's so much progress that's been made. Mm-hmm. It's I can almost taste it. So, but yeah.
I feel once I get the body done on this, the sleeves will be nothing, which will be really nice.
Yeah. Okay, so after you get to your last decrease, then it's 10 more centimeters?
I think so. I think it's 50 something.
Okay.
I don't know. But my last decrease is after, I think maybe I'm going to check after this row ends.
Yeah, you're almost there.
And then it might be to the decrease. And then I just knit mindlessly for a while.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Makes it easy.
It's easy breezy. It'll be really nice when oh, I'm actually not almost there. It's over here.
You just started another round. Okay.
my husband drives when we're in the car together. He prefers to drive, right? Which works for me because I get to knit. But when my husband's not here, I get to drive. Or
So you
I
don't knit
have
as
to
much.
drive. Yeah. So I can't do as much knitting, which is really sad.
Yeah. But 2 weeks. You'll have him for 2 weeks.
I will have him for 2 weeks.
So imagine all of the knitting you could get done in that time frame.
Though I will be working during that time, so I'll still have to like drive unless he's gonna drop me. I don't know how that is all gonna work out.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, it's undetermined at this point.
Which it'll probably depend on the day and what he wants to do and needs to get done.
Yeah, what he's doing for his family and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we will be back in a couple weeks.
Yep.
5 weeks, exactly.
Mhm.
And then if you find us entertaining, you can like and subscribe.
We should do that earlier next time.
We should probably do that in like the beginning.
We're still figuring out the whole podcasting thing. It's fun.
How we want it structured.
How we want it structured, and I feel like we should plug that maybe a little sooner. But yeah, if you
Probably.
find us entertaining and want to know what's going on with our lives, our shop, our projects, like, subscribe, follow for more.
Yeah. And I don't know. Have you guys? We can have you guys like comment if you're working on like any new projects or
Mhm.
patterns. Let's kind of see like if you're working on a project that has like a new skill in it
Yeah,
that you're like
cool.
really excited about, or maybe you were nervous about starting and then you started doing it and you were like, okay,
Okay.
this isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Because I haven't done, there's a ton of stuff in knitting that I haven't done. I've been knitting for, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years now. Mostly because I'm kind of a scaredy cat a little bit. But it would be nice to like hear about other people's experience with like trying new
Mhm.
things and like what worked for them, what didn't work for them, or if there's specific content creators that make videos, like how-to
Yeah.
videos that worked out and helped out quite a bit.
Yeah, YouTube is my best friend for some of this stuff.
It is.
So, well, thanks for hanging in for the hour and 23 minutes that we'll be here.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, we talk a lot. And this is the condensed Spark Notes version, guys.
It is. Goodness. Okay, and so we'll see you next month.
Next month, March 21st. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Bye.
Bye.